What is up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans? It's your old friend IndyCar Timm here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Daily Blitz. It's been a few days since we did one of these things, so as we approach the deadline on Tuesday for the final cuts down to the 53-man regulars, God, the regular season is upon us. 2 weeks. But as we approach those final roster cuts that are due on Tuesday for all 32 NFL teams, including the Bucs, we're already seeing around the league some trades, some cuts, some waiver wire stuff, some just roster jumbling in general. You woke up early Sunday morning to news that the Philadelphia Eagles had traded for former fifth-round pick out of the Washington Commanders fifth-round pick, Sam Howell, to back up Jalen Hurts, as Tanner McKee is dealing with a finger injury and will not be ready to start the season, apparently, at number 2. And now we start to get some other movement around the league, and most notably in Tampa Bay, as expected, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have waived undrafted free agent safety Shilo Sanders, as they informed his agents Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey, who then informed Adam Schefty, that Sanders would be cut when the time comes for the final roster cuts. However, as we predicted could happen, might still happen, I don't think any of us thought that Shilo Sanders was going to make the 53-man roster. I think that was a long shot in general. I mean, that's just for what we all have been talking about for the last couple of weeks. But he could still be signed on Wednesday to the practice squad of the Bucs, unless another team wants to take a flyer on him and add him to their 53-man roster, which I don't see that happening unless you've got a team that's just decimated at safety with injuries, and I can't think of a team right now that would fall into that category that would be desperate enough to put Sanders on their 53-man roster. Just because they wanted him for the future. But it's I don't know, it's funny, but it's not funny, as of course Sanders was ejected out of last night's preseason finale against the Bills for throwing a punch at tight end Zach Davidson, who was blocking him. They were going back and forth, some pushing, some shoving in the second quarter. And, you know, there's a couple of points here, I guess, and that whole thing. Do I think that had anything at all to do with Shilo Sanders not making the team? No. His fate had been decided long before that little skirmish. But I did think it was kind of funny. I don't know that should warrant a guy getting ejected. Both players were going at it pretty good. They were pretty physical on that play. And while there weren't just wind-up haymakers thrown by either player up until that point, there was a little pushing and jabbing and hands to the face during that whole transaction between Davidson and Sanders. And Sanders kind of threw what I thought was kind of a half-hearted punch at him. Should he have thrown it? No, absolutely not. This is today's NFL, and there's no room for any of that in this game as per the rules. Would I like to see a little more of that in the game? Sure. I don't want to see a guy get hurt, but I love the physical play we had in the 70s and the 80s when I was a kid, but that's long gone. And Sanders knows you can't do that. Todd Bowles commented on it after the game that he shouldn't have done it. And no, he shouldn't have done it. Does it warrant getting thrown out of a preseason game for a guy that's on the bubble already, or under the bubble, under the cut line already? I don't know about that. I think the referees kind of jumped the gun. I understand why they did it. Per the rule, he should have been ejected, but I just thought it was a little bit silly. Did not have an effect, I don't think, obviously, on the outcome of the meaningless preseason game, the 23-19 Bucs loss. But I just thought it was kind of silly. Now, less than 24 hours after that, the team didn't even wait until Tuesday to let him know. They just said, you know what, this is happening. Good luck to you. Maybe we'll see you on Wednesday when we can sign you back to the practice squad, which is what I think, again, as most of us had predicted, was going to be his fate for the Buccaneers. He was also flagged for a pass interference call in the first quarter of that game. not a good look. I thought he had a pretty strong offseason up until the preseason, and he just didn't look very good in a couple of the games. And, he got limited playing time for the most part, but I didn't think he looked great. I think the only way he was going to make the roster was he just had to absolutely play lights out better than just about anybody else. And even then, he wasn't going to get a starting job. He was going to be relegated to backup. But going into the game on Saturday, he was listed as a third-string safety. So he's probably behind everybody else, Merriweather, Wisdom, Winfield, Smith, Izzy, and obviously behind the starters. So it is what it is. There were hopes, of course, for him. We're all pulling for him. At least I was. I don't know why you wouldn't. He's a heck of a player. And he's trying to sort of ease his way out from under the thumb of his famous dad. And he was a heck of a player at South Carolina before he transferred to Colorado to play for his dad the last couple of seasons. But no, I like the guy as a player. I like the guy as a Sanders. He's probably my favorite Sanders in the league, if you want to throw that out there. But it is what it is. I think we'll see him on the practice squad on Wednesday, and I think the team will help develop him as they should, and I think he's got a lot of room to develop, and that's just all the positive things you can say about a guy like that, right, that went undrafted. So it is what it is. Sanders, again, will be waived at the final cut down for the 53-man roster ahead of the September 7th regular season opener in Atlanta, which with the injuries the Buccaneers are dealing with, we'll get into a preview of that game as we get closer to the game and we know a little bit more about the injuries to Wirfs, to where Godwin is, and certainly Jalen McMillan's injury. We'll do some previews and stuff as we get closer to the game for you right here on FanStream Sports Tampa Bay. But anyway, if you woke up Sunday hoping I already said it, Shilo Sanders was going to make the 53-man roster, you're out of luck. Get up, go have some brunch, get you a mimosa, down some breakfast foods wherever your favorite spot is on the beach there in St. Pete or Clearwater or wherever you are in Tampa right now, and commiserate. But he'll be back. I think he'll be back. That's going to do it for us on today's Tampa Bay Buccaneers Daily Blitz podcast right here on FanStream Sports Tampa Bay. I'm IndyCar Tim. Until next time, boys and girls, we'll see you.